All right, everybody. So a little bit of a different dynamic today for today's live stream. I'm going live a little bit earlier because news has finally officially broke that Elon Musk is going to be acquiring Twitter for $44 billion. Twitter actually ended up caving. And now we finally get our edit button. And now we get all the kinds of things that Elon has been promising us. We hope. We'll see what happens. But here's the news, guys. Twitter announced on Monday, today, this is according to Yahoo, that it has entered into a deal to be acquired Tesla CEO Elon Musk for $44 billion. Twitter shareholders will receive a $54.20 per share. And when the deal is finalized, the social network will become a privately held company, as Elon has promised. So he literally got everything that he was looking to get. I think at this point, the Twitter board members were backed into a corner. They had no leg to stand on. They didn't have any skin in the game. Jack Dorsey was also bad mouthing the entire board. The company, from a managerial perspective, was just going nowhere, and it was in shambles. Nobody had even heard the new CEO Parag talk, who's been a CEO since October, November, somewhere around there. So it has been very interesting. Just to continue here, the announcement follows a tumultuous few weeks between Musk and Twitter's board, during which Musk became the company's largest shareholder, rebuffed the board's efforts to recruit him as a member, and launched a hostile takeover bid of the social media company. Remember, Twitter was trying to do everything they could. They were trying to execute a poison pill that would screw over investors. So just yet another fantastic idea. And in order to prevent Elon from a hostile takeover, if you guys recall, this is the story of events. He talked about, and recently, as far as freedom of speech and how he wanted to see Twitter look in the future. And this was all before we knew he bought into it. But then he ended up buying $3.5 billion worth of Twitter shares that accounted for 9.1% stake in the company, which at the time was the largest stake that the company had. And then Vanguard ended up buying some more to kind of be numero uno there. But nevertheless, Elon then took that on. He was invited to be a member of the board. It seemed as if that was going to happen, and then it didn't, because Elon then realized the kind of limitations that he would be subject to. And it kind of seemed as if in the back behind the scenes that maybe Jack Dorsey could have talked to Elon and been, hey, this is not something that you want to do. As you guys might know, Jack Dorsey still has a seat on the board of directors, but I don't think he has a whole lot of say. And he kind of made that public. He talked about how the board of directors was kind of in shambles, and it was dysfunctional, I believe was his exact words. So that's kind of how we've gotten to here. Twitter talked about how they were going to potentially put things in place, and again, the poison pill came to mind, and which would have screwed over investors. That would have been in the best interest of investors. Elon knew this. He already had, or he had come up with the financing to acquire up to $46.5 billion to acquire Twitter. So they knew that this was inevitable. Either they played ball or fought this, and at the end, Elon was still going to take over Twitter. So what does this mean? This means that if you are a shareholder of Twitter, that you will be receiving $54.20 per share. As Elon loves that 420 and 69, those two numbers. I was almost kind of wondering if he would go for the $69 number, or maybe $50.69. Maybe that would have been nice. But that 5420 is so funny because there's so many people that just scoffed at this, right? That gave so much shit about the 5420 number, that they were like, no, we're not going to do that. Like, this is ridiculous. This isn't how things are done. And Elon continues to be like, well, this is how I want it done. I don't care how it's been done before. And it's actually pretty freaking awesome. Just to kind of go into a couple of other things. This doesn't guarantee that Musk is going to, make dramatic changes to the platform. I think that he's going to make some changes as far as finally getting the edit button. He did talk about verifying real people, and that bots were a serious problem on the platform. You guys might know this if you're a Twitter user, but Twitter is full of them. And really, honestly, the YouTube is as well. I'm sure when I sign off of this live stream, there's going to be a multitude of comments that I'm going to have to delete because the spam bots are just out of control. So if Elon can take care of the spam bots, on Twitter. My hope is that this carries over to some of the other social media platforms, including YouTube. So that is really kind of what I wanted to chat with you guys about today. Let's take a look at the chart real quick. You can see that the stock was now been halted. News has officially come out. It halted at up 5.5% today. Is at $51.63. Now that is still a little bit a ways away from that 54.20, but I think that the big reason is probably because there might be some investors out that are like, this isn't a guaranteed thing. There's still some things that need to be taken care of in order for Twitter to actually the acquisition to actually go through. This isn't something that's just going to happen overnight. So I think that that's probably the caution that's taking place. And this is interesting. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this. I would love to hear from you guys about the platform itself, because for me personally, I love Twitter. I think it's a great platform. There's a lot of people out there that don't, which, listen, I get it. Maybe you don't for a bunch of reasons, but I love Twitter just because it's where I go and get a lot of my news. And for investors, it's the place to be. There's no other platform out there that has the cash tag function like Twitter does. And so I think that for me personally, I'm a fan of this. I love the fact that Elon's getting on board. I'm super excited and I'm super pumped as far as what he can do with it. And let's not forget, people, he's got 80 million followers. The dude has no marketing budget for Tesla. This is how he speaks to his investors. This is how he speaks to his customers and the rest of the world. So I think that there's another advantage here for those of you who are Tesla holders, that this is now an opportunity for more people to get exposure to Tesla. And so I think this is actually a good thing for Tesla holders as well. Some people have been talking about how this is a little bit more of a distraction. This could pose a distraction, I should say, to Elon and everything else that he's got going on. But if there's one thing that we've learned about the way that Elon operates, is that he can handle just about anything. And so I don't think that there's going to be too much worry there, in my opinion. I think, like I said earlier, that this actually benefits something like a Tesla because of the reasons that I've laid out was when it comes to advertising and getting exposure to Tesla in general. So I think this is great. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm going to do this in lieu of a live stream today. So make sure that you are locked and loaded for tomorrow, because we have some fantastic earnings for tomorrow. We have Microsoft, Google, among a ton of others. So I'll be live at 3:45 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So make sure that you guys are tuning in to get my live reactions on those. Tonight, I'm going to be putting out pre-recorded content to give you a snapshot of what I'm expecting for those earnings, so that you guys can be the best prepared as you can be for Microsoft and Google and all the other ones that are going to be reporting tomorrow, Enphase as well. So make sure you guys are tuning in again at 3:45 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.